Welcome to the Sean and Geek, the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. Done.
Well done. Okay, we're going to use that.
I'll stick my filter back on here. There we go. It's like trying to put on wet pants. You ever try putting on wet pants? That's terrible.
How's that? There, that's sexy.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. This big knob in front of
you. Nice. So yeah, welcome to Zombocom.
Welcome to Zombocom.
This is weird. We're actually like in the same room.
Yeah, this is probably the first time since COVID. Because I had the table set up, and then once COVID hit, and we were kind of doing it remotely, I kind of took it down. And this is the first time. Mind you, the table's still not up, but this actually works well.
This is good, yeah.
Yeah, and that Zoom that you bought, it's not even a foot long. Like it's probably 8 inches or so.
Smaller in my hand.
Yeah, you can put your hand right over it.
And the quality's good.
Yeah, I like it.
So I was debating, like, because we did our last one on Zoom, right? And I was debating if we should.
Actually, I know what it is. Can you turn my volume up on my headphones? That could be.
Yeah. How's that?
No, keep going. Oh yeah, keep going. Keep going. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, you were really low.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Now I can hear myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have my windscreen on though.
So I will say, PodTrack, Zoom, if you're listening, you can fully endorse this show because I'm going to sell the shit out of your product because it's awesome.
Oh, this is yeah, because I've got my mixer behind you, and if you look at that, it's about a foot wide by a little more than a foot long, and I was only really using one channel.
Yeah.
Except for when we were having everyone here, but this thing.
Well, I can lend you my one channel one.
Oh no, I have a smaller footprint one. Okay. That was the Behringer that cropped.
That was the 2 channel.
It cropped the bed. No, it's the same as that.
Oh, yeah.
It was 4 channels, but it didn't have the XLR outs to the mains and stuff. It's just a different.
My other one's a little smaller than this.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I can lend it to you. I'm not using it anymore.
Yeah, and we don't need a separate headphone amp.
Nope.
Whereas the Behringer, you had to kind of go out and then have the 4 headphones out. Where this Zoom unit, it's got 4 outs on it just for the mics, or for the headphones. Yeah,
we have sound effects, but I.
Oh
yeah. These are the pre-programmed ones.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the second one?
All right, let's try the second one.
Yeah, and we're back.
Yeah. Oh, see, it doesn't have anything. Oh.
Oh, I have to hold it down.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much.
Nice. There's a whole bunch in there. These are the defaults. Oh, nice.
How? Yeah, no. I won't tell any fat jokes. That's not politically correct anymore.
I got a dirty joke. I got a dirty joke for you.
Okay, what is
White horse fell in the mud.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Have you ever talked to Google and got them to tell you a dirty joke?
No.
No. Well, it's similar to that.
Should we do it?
The horse thing. Yeah.
You want to try it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Hey Google, can I hear a dirty joke?
Sure, but be warned, this joke's really dirty. What did one broom say to the other broom? Have you heard the latest dirt? The vacuum cleaner bit the dust.
Oh my God. My God. Okay, I've got a story for you.
Oh, good. I always like starting with a story.
Okay, so we've got Google, we got Siri, we've got Alexa, we've got, what else is there?
You got them. Yeah, you got 3.
Well, okay, so we had a clock radio, that we've had for I don't know how long now. And when I looked up and it was the wrong time, so I went and tried to change it, and it wouldn't stay, and I didn't really understand why. And then the display came off, which is blank. So so I just unplugged it. I brought it to work, took it apart. There was a burnt wire in one of the ribbons. So instead of replacing the ribbon, I figured, you know what? I'm just going to get a new clock radio. So I was looking on AliExpress because they're cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can have them projecting on the walls and all this stuff, and built-in chargers where you can put your phone on it. And so I took a look at Best Buy, and then they had it's called a Nest.
Yes.
So and this is the Alexa version.
We have we have a Nest at home.
So it's a ball, but it actually had a display for the clock radio.
Oh.
So I figured, sure, why not? I'll take that. So we set it up. I put it in the room. And so my fiance's got an Apple. I've got an Android. And then I've got the Google in they call it not the Nest, but their version.
Well, the Google is called the Nest, I think.
Is it the Nest?
Yeah, ours is a Google Nest.
I thought it was an Amazon Nest or something. I don't know. Everyone has their own name.
Maybe Amazon's the egg. I don't know.
Could be. So it's strange because they all have different voices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So beside her, she'll say, hey, whatever it is for her Apple. And then I'll say, and Lexa, you don't have to say hey first. You just say Alexa, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you say that, and then you ask a question. So we were kind of comparing. Like, she'd ask one question, I'd ask the exact same question to the other unit, and we get different answers. Or one wouldn't understand what I was saying, one or the other, right? So it's kind of odd. It's almost like you should have all three of them or four of them in a room, and see if you can talk to one to say something to prompt the other one, and then the other one to prompt and kind of talk to each other. That would be kind of weird, wouldn't it? You get home one day, it's like, what the hell's going on? Everyone's talking to everybody.
How
the
many
lights are turning on by themselves?
So I didn't know you had multiples in your house. So I always thought like you have one, like you're a Google Home or an Apple Home or an Amazon Home. So you guys have three.
Well, no, we have two of the actual units. So one is the Amazon, one's the Google.
But you have your TV, which is an Amazon, and you have your phones, which are two different brands.
Well, the TV I think is Alexa also.
Yeah,
but I think they're compatible with Google. It's getting to the point where they're compatible with everything now.
Yeah.
And they brag about, well, you can run the lights off your house, you can turn the heat up and down, you can do all these things with these units. So I mean, it's to the point where if someone hacked into your system, they could take full control over your house.
That happened.
Yeah,
you get Mr. Robot.
Oh, did it?
It was a season opener.
Oh,
season 3 maybe, where sweltering in the house, and she's telling, it wasn't Siri, it wasn't any of the big three or whatever, but she was telling him like, turn the heat down, hey Google or whatever, turn the heat down, and it was like,
no, so your phone just came on.
But first you'll have to unlock your device.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you're watching a movie and it either says hey Google or Alexa or anything like that, and everyone's units at home turn on or turn off, or I didn't see that coming.
How does Amazon not have a phone? That's interesting.
You know what? They don't have a phone yet. I put yet because you never know with these companies. There's always something that but it's weird just the way the technology is working and advancing. Back in the day it was the clapper, right? You want to turn your you want to turn your lights on and off, and you clap. Now you can do it just by talking to one of your units. So that would be handy, like in the bedroom, the light. So instead of having to get up and go hit the switch and then come back, it's like, oh, the last person in forgot to turn the light off. Someone's got to get up.
I don't know if IKEA is selling a home control system.
Like totally
Controls.
separate.
It controls everything. Yeah, your lights and your sound and your
Okay.
yeah. They're starting this. I don't know, starting. They've probably had it for a while, but
So it's not a Google Amazon thing then.
Nope.
This is a whole separate thing in its own.
now wonder how accurate. I just realized I haven't had a coffee today.
Oh, did you want a coffee?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah.
Do you have a? You have a cure? Oh yeah. Oh, I can have one of your special coffees.
Special coffee.
Well, you have a grinder.
Yeah, we've got an actual grinder built into the coffee maker.
Oh shit.
Can you pause it?
I can. Yeah. Well, let me just hit the pause button.
Oh, wow.
It's on.
Okay. So you're saying the difference between this one and the Zoom. Oh, you mean like the recorder is like what I've got?
Yeah. The Zoom. Yeah, because it's the same company, right?
Right. Yeah, the built-in mic, but it's more of a room mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the H2N that I've got actually has two mics.
Can you hear the crow outside? As the crow flies, as they say.
Actually, no, that's a Canada goose.
Oh,
isn't it?
Canada goose.
Yeah.
Listen, Americans, that is a Canadian goose.
Yeah. Or some people like to call was it cobra? Something cobra?
Cobra killer?
Flying cobra or something. I don't know. They get attacked by them.
I got. Oh, there's
There
your
we
phone
go.
again.
Yeah.
Canadian goose could also be called what Trump does to ladies.
Ooh.
He gooses them.
Ooh, low blow.
So low. No, we shouldn't call it Canadian goose. A Canadian goose is when you goose someone's behind, and it's like they want the goose. Like, oh, goose my behind. Because Canadians are polite that way. We actually ask for permission for things. We don't just take things. So I was on Instagram and stuff, and we've said this many times before. We're supposed to have Tony from Restrained back on our show, and I keep not booking it. But I was watching his pictures because he just came back from the Monsters of Rock cruise,
Nice.
which is the same cruise that. God, I saw your shadow and I thought it was the cat. Which is the same cruise that in Obscuria, Kevin from Obscuria is on right now.
Ooh.
And he's back. Everyone's back, but I'm looking at the pictures and like, oh God, you got to see Tora Tora perform, and he just interviewed in Obscuria. Just interviewed Tora Tora's singer at Rockin' Pod, and I listened to it, and my God, it was such a good interview.
Now this was the interview on the cruise.
No, sorry. The Rockin' Pod was the one in Nashville that I was saying that we should go to next year.
Okay.
And he interviewed Anthony Corder there, but Anthony Corder performed on the Monsters of Rock cruise, which was just happened in the last couple of weekends or something.
We should book something.
That'd be fun.
We should go somewhere and do a podcast outside of our city.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Go to freaking Gimli or, even something small for now,
On the road.
Well, that was the name of the show, right? Like when the show started, it was called On the Road because I was on the road on the way to work.
Right.
And then I started calling you from the road.
Right.
And that was the humble beginnings of this show.
Wow.
But we could actually do it now. But we wouldn't be able to actually drive and do it with like imagine having your headphones on and microphones stands clamped to our dashboard as we're driving.
You know what? It could be done. We could have like lapel light mics,
Yes, with
And-
lapel mics.
and we don't really need headphones.
We don't need to hear ourselves.
No, we wouldn't be able, as long as the mic levels are good on the
Yeah.
recorder.
Well, I mean, we could set it now and just leave it.
Yeah, and then it runs on batteries and
But you could still plug it in to your
USB. I got USB in the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, all newer vehicles now have got that. Or if they don't, I mean, the cigarette lighter
Yeah.
piece where it plugs in, you
Yeah.
can get the adapters that have
That's
the
right.
USBs on it.
I think it keeps the charge better, like plugged in versus like USB plugged into like a computer or whatever. But it doesn't require a lot of power.
Yeah.
So
I'm just amazed how small that thing is
I know,
and how much you can do with it.
but the quality's good. Like
Yeah, it sounds good through the headphones.
I don't know, Zoom.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got the was it the H1
Mm-hmm.
when we first started playing
Yes.
with Ray and Dad, and we were recording all the sessions that we were doing.
We still have them all saved.
Yeah, and then I got the H2N one year, which records in quadraphonic, I guess, if you want, because there's 4 mics on it,
Oh, okay.
front and back,
Yeah.
or you can just do it in regular stereo. It gives you that option. I don't use it that way because the only thing I do with it is pretty much record a jam session, so
Yeah.
it just needs to be the stereo version. So it was just extra money for whatever. It's got these other things where you can put compressors and stuff, but it's like, oh, I don't have. If I did that, if I really wanted to do that, I'd go through a program through Reaper or something and just add it later.
The good thing about this is that if you're a starting podcaster and you want to upgrade to your first piece of equipment, I would recommend this.
And how much was it?
This was $199
and that's Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah, it's
So it's probably
it's $149 US or
I was going to say
something.
like $89 US.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. Like there was one. Like I listened to multiple things on YouTube, people reviewing the thing and comparing it to the Rodecaster specifically,
Right.
because the Rodecaster Pro was considered the podcasting piece of equipment that you need to have if you're a podcaster.
Right.
Once you become a professional podcaster, you get the Rodecaster Pro.
Right. How long has this one been out?
At least a couple of years.
Okay.
Because I've been eyeing it since it came out.
Okay, yeah. So the Rodecaster was probably previous to that.
Yeah, there's been different versions. Like
Okay.
the Rodecaster Pro, like there's a number, I think.
Now, when you say Rodecaster, is that the brand name or is that the
Rodecaster's the brand.
Is the brand, okay. Because, Tascam and everyone's trying to kind of get into the niche, so. And you can buy kits, like.
But you know what the funny thing that always got me is that podcasts, when I say podcasts and when I think of podcasts, it's 2 guys in a room chatting. 2 guys, 2 gals, 2 whatever. Like it's 2 people chatting or it's a person chatting. And it's in their phone or off of remember the old recorders? Like I've got an old recorder. It's just got like a little microphone on it, like pre-Zoom stuff. It's the
little mini, like the little mini cassettes?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you have like in your old answering machines?
That's right, exactly. It's not meant to be great quality. If you want great quality, you listen to radio. And at radio, they've got the super expensive microphones and the mixing boards. And welcome to Q97.4. Like it's one of those shows.
AM.
But that's what they do, right? Like
Right.
the radio is meant to be the high production, high gloss, lots of advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to stop in 10 minutes and do weather and traffic. We're going to stop in 5 minutes to do commercials. We're going to stop in 5 minutes. So basically, in an hour of radio, you have like 10 minutes of content, it feels like. And in the old days, that's not how radio worked, right? We talked to Eric Senish about this before, but in the old days, the DJ controlled what was being said,
Right.
right? What was being said, what was being played. Here's a new track from this Canadian band called Rush. Here's a song called Working Man. And they played Working Man when no one else in the U.S. would play them. And then Rush explodes in the States. That was because a DJ, not a studio producer or the Chorus Radio. It wasn't Chorus Radio that made Rush. It was this one DJ who had the album and played it. And the audience listened to this one DJ because they could find good music. Like he was a good barometer of what's good, and he would bring stuff in, and then people go, "Oh, what's that song?" Then people call into the radio station and request the song. I don't even think you can call into radio stations to request a song anymore.
No?
No, it's all controlled by the company.
I don't know. I think you still can.
Well, within reason.
Yeah, I guess.
But 20 years ago, I remember calling into a radio station requesting a song. Oh, sorry, we can't play that.
That's not in our demographic.
No, it wasn't a single. So it was a
It was a B-side.
it was a rock station, right?
Right.
And they played rock songs, and I requested a song, and the song happened to be, it wasn't even a B-side. It wasn't an A-side or a B-side single. It was just another song, like Drop Dead Legs or something. I can't remember what it was, but they said they actually came back and said, we can't play that because it's not a single.
Wow.
So, and I know there's some radio stations that have, a little bit of, they're allowed a little bit of leeway.
Do you remember when 99.9 first started here in Winnipeg?
As Bob or pre-Bob?
Pre-Bob. Like, this was when they first came out. The music, like the selection they had was excellent. And the
Yes.
tunes that they had were like, geez, I hadn't heard that one in a while.
But it wasn't just rock. It wasn't just pop, right?
It was
whatever.
Yeah, it was a mixture, but it was just awesome music. Okay.
Well, we just had our first hiccup.
Yep. Ran out of room.
So I'll try to edit that last sequence there. But we were talking about 99.9.
Yeah. Yeah, but did I? Yeah, I don't know if I really, if I missed the whole thing.
Is it still going?
Is it?
Yep, still going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just saying about 99.9 when it first came out, before it became Bob FM and all this other stuff. It was basically almost like pirate radio, where, someone actually put music on, but I don't think it was. I don't know if it was an announcer. It was just on a loop.
It was just music being.
But it was awesome music.
Yeah.
It wasn't, well, we got to figure out, what we're going to put on. This was music and stuff that we had heard, some songs we hadn't heard in a long time. And they just, the stuff they were playing was like excellent. It was great. And everyone was commenting on it.
Yeah, but that's, but they probably stopped doing that right away. They probably did that for a while, and then they're like, okay, no, we got to meet a certain demographic. We have to play a certain kind of music. We have to, and then they just have to like pigeonhole themselves into one thing. But it's like, you listen to everything. You listen to a lot of different types of music.
Yeah, everything, but the 80s rap is one thing, but the rap that comes out now, I don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Twangy country from yesteryear. I don't like that stuff either. But now the country now is kind of like a country rock.
Yeah,
it's not so much as twangy and whiny.
You sound like our father there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then we were talking about just corporations in general, or even work and stuff. Like when it's a mom and pop thing, it's nice and small. Where everything is kind of homemade and stuff, where you're eating, versus going out to a restaurant, where some of them they just they bring in the semi trailer full of frozen stuff, and they they deep fry it, and here's your food type thing. If you get a chance, definitely go see the mom and pop places, and you'll see them like in strip malls and stuff, like just hole in the wall. We'll visit one every once in a while just to try it out, and it's awesome food, because they being that it's smaller, they care, they put more care into their stuff, and it's more of a personal thing.
It's their names on the line.
Yeah, and I'm sure the big corporations, when they first started, they started off small.
Sure.
And it was probably a whole different food. And then once they got to a certain size, it was like, okay, well, now we have to kind of branch out. Now we got to, see if we can start, getting this stuff frozen, and we have to, bring it in.
Or we'll buy all our meat from this one place, and they'll give us a mass discount. I know it's not a good quality, but, and then we'll buy our fruit from here. But they start, instead of like buying what they want, they start, okay, well, I'm making a business deal with this company to do all this stuff, so I have to sell their stuff. But it's like in the hair industry, for example, like if you're selling only Joico, or you're only selling Redken. Well, Redken doesn't make the best of everything. They make the best of this, and this, and Joico makes the best of that, and that.
Right.
But if you're beholden, if you're a Redken salon or a Joico salon, you can only sell their product. And they don't make the best of everything. Like with my wife, she's not beholden to anyone. She's not an official Redken salon or a Joico salon. She uses the best product, period, regardless of brand.
Right.
Like she's not tied in.
Right. She's not tied into a big conglomerate corporation where she has to follow these
Yeah.
guidelines. You do what you want to do.
Corporate restaurants are forced to buy all of their whatever from here and all of that from there, and and you're not getting the best quality. You're just getting the best discount for the quantity you're buying of all your vegetables from one place. But they do shitty lettuce, shitty asparagus, but everything else is okay. But you still have to serve the shitty lettuce and shitty asparagus because you're buying it from one place.
Yeah, it's like owning the Sony store.
Yeah.
I can only sell Sony.
Yeah.
Well, how about this Panasonic? No, can't do that.
Yeah.
But this one's better. Well, if you want that, go to Visions or one of these other places where they sell.
Where they can
all
sell Sony and other stuff.
They can sell all the other stuff.
I don't know
too.
why you'd want to limit yourself to one thing.
Well, mind you, even the big corporations only carry so much, right? They don't carry everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll have to go, if you want to. I think Best Buy and Future Shop, I think were owned by the same.
Yes.
Or they ended up being owned by the same. I can't remember how.
I don't know if they were originally, but they were in the end for sure.
With everybody buying other businesses out, and you can't keep track anymore. Yeah.
So, Rage podcast.
Yes.
As we said, so we're gonna have to arrange to have those two blokes on our show. Did I use bloke in the right way?
I think so. If it's not, I'm sure they'll
they can correct me.
Yeah,
I have no problem being corrected.
Yeah.
But we're gonna set something up. We're gonna find a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure out the time difference, and then we'll have them both. I want them both. I don't want one. I want both.
Oh yeah, for sure. Gotta have both.
And then they'll struggle with our Canadian accent. We'll struggle with their Scottish accent, and it'll be a barrel of monkeys.
Yeah, we'll get them to try and talk Canadian, and we'll try and talk, and we'll switch off and
just
see
like
if
we
anybody,
spoke Quebecois last episode.
Yeah, see if anybody notices.
Yeah. But I've been trying to fill the void because there's something about that show that we talked about this before many times.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about the conversational nature of it. The kitchen party, two people sitting in the kitchen having a coffee, talking about whatever it is they're talking about. But it's always interesting, right? It's like real conversation.
Right.
So I found something very similar.
Okay.
And I don't know why I haven't listened to it before. I was aware of it, but I wasn't listening to podcasts maybe at the time, or I don't know. But are you familiar with The Lord of the Rings?
I'm familiar with it.
Familiar enough.
I think I've seen the first movie.
So there's a scene in the movie which will make sense in a second. There's a scene in the movie where
Gentlemen, we do not stop till nightfall.
What about breakfast?
We've already had it.
We've had one, yes. What about second breakfast?
Don't think he knows about second breakfast, Pip.
What about elevensies? Luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, supper. He knows about them, doesn't he?
I wouldn't count on it.
Hey, Ben.
These are like the hobbits?
the two hobbits that are having the conversation are Merry and Pippin.
Okay.
Okay, so Billy Boyd and oh my God, Dominic Monaghan.
Okay.
I always struggle with his name because it's a mouthful. So their relationship in the movie is they're two a little bit, I don't know if dimwit is the right thing, but they love their ale, and they're the best of friends in the movies. So through the whole thing, they're the kind of the comedic relief of this very dark movie.
Okay.
And they're always back and forth, like kind of silly characters, but the best of friends, right? But they are in real life too. And when you hear them outside of the movies, it's no different. They're still the same two guys.
So what you're saying is these two guys are in that movie.
Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd.
And they also have a podcast.
Yes.
So when you watch Lord of the Rings with them in it,
Yes.
and you watch their podcast,
Yeah.
if you really love them in Lord of the Rings, then you should listen to the
Yes.
podcast. Okay.
They're hilarious. In the movies, they're hilarious. But when you hear them, like when they were doing all the press for Lord of the Rings, and the two of them always pair off. And they're always just back and forth. They became the best of friends because of this movie. And they're best friends, and they're still friends, and they still hang out, and they still see each other. They live close to each other now, apparently. And I guess maybe during the pandemic they started the podcast. I don't know how old this thing is.
So they didn't know anybody prior to this movie. They didn't know each other.
They, at best, they knew of each other, I believe.
Okay. And then after the movie, they got together and created.
Yeah.
this
Well,
podcast.
they like I don't know if you know the story, but to do the Lord of the Rings movies, it was a year of filming,
Okay.
and they all had to be in New Zealand
Wow.
for a year. I think there was like periods where they could leave, like have a couple of weeks off here and there, but they literally all of them lived there together. So the Fellowship of the Ring
Right.
was the name of the first movie, and it was like the Four Hobbits and Aragorn and Gimli and oh my god, the elf Legolas. It was the four of them, like the Friendship of the Nine. Like it was literally the 9 of them hanging out in New Zealand for a year together. So they all get tattoos when the movies were done to join them as a real brotherhood.
I've heard that. Some
Yeah.
people do that.
So anyway, so the two of them, Merry and Pippin, or the two actors that play them, they have this podcast, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, this is Rage. This is totally. So I wanted to actually play.
Now, are they from? They're not from Glasgow, are they?
One is from Glasgow, and one is from Belfast.
Okay.
But anyway,
Now we've never tried playing because right now we've got the
if it works, we'll hear it.
Zoom. We've got the Zoom hooked up to the laptop, and we have YouTube on.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it comes through.
Now I left the volume at the same level when I was doing this with Karen, so we could hear the clip. So it should work.
Okay.
But let's just take a listen to a clip and.
And we will, in fact, eat the world very slowly, one mouthful at a time.
Now, William.
Yes.
This week, it looks like we're eating ramen, which is a noodle snack from, I don't know, what Asian country? Korea? Japan?
I would say Korea.
I would say Japan.
Well, let's agree to disagree.
Okay. But we're not just eating ramen.
No.
We're eating ramen with
Here we are.
Momofuku chili crunch, as you can see here. Now, what we are going to do
Yeah.
is it's supposed to be relatively hot, but we like hot food. We're going
Thank you.
we're going to put a little bit of it. I would say for me, I would say probably a teaspoon of
with
this
a
stuff.
fork spoon.
Are you seeing the similarities here?
A little bit. These guys are just kind of comedic back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where this is kind of their shtick, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably like that throughout their whole podcast.
Yes.
There's nothing ever serious. Like talked about.
No, not usually. No.
So it's pretty much just the.
But they share their like. What's really good is they because they had to not live at home for a year.
Right.
They bonded. It's like, well, what are we going to do? I don't know. Let's go try the local cuisine. So they were talking. The one I was listening to, they actually hopped in a canoe because this restaurant they wanted to eat at, the only way to get there was by canoe. So they actually got a canoe and paddled over.
A canoe?
They canoed to the restaurant.
A restaurant. How the hell does the restaurant get their food?
I don't know.
Or are they just hunting the surrounding areas?
So they went there, they ate.
Right.
And then they were talking the story about how hot it was, like how hot the food was, how spicy.
Oh, spicy.
And then they're like, well, then we had a pint afterwards. They had a couple of pints. And then they're like, oh, shit. What do he calls it? Billy. What do he calls Billy? I think he calls him Billy and Dom. So he goes, I can't remember which guy said it, but something along like, Dom, we still have to take the canoe back. We still have the canoe back home.
And the owner's like, hey, can you bring back the empty pints that we have?
But it's just it's humorous. So I'm on episode 2.
Okay.
And it's not exactly the same, but just the accents and the friendship.
Yeah, the friendship. Yeah,
The friendship on Rage
yeah,
bleeds through.
yes.
It's the most. These two are buddies. They probably bled together or something. Like there's something there. They're not just friends. Like they're beyond friends.
You think they were brothers?
Yeah,
That's how close
yeah.
they seem to
And
be.
it's the same thing with this. These two are so bonded, You know, I think their wives know each other, and it's like it was a natural for them to have a podcast together. Like, yeah, because there's not gonna be another Lord of the Rings movie. You're not gonna see Merry and Pippin, and they are Merry and Pippin. Like that's their personalities.
So it's like a spin-off.
In a way,
it's a
yeah.
podcast spin-off
Yeah.
of Merry and Pippin.
But I mean, they're not Merry and Pippin. They're Dominic and Billy, right? But that's their personalities. Like they cast them obviously for a reason because that camaraderie totally mirrors the camaraderie in the book of those two characters. So,
wow.
Anyway,
that is cool.
I love this show. I this is like, so hopefully I might finish this before we get another Rage episode. Maybe I don't know, but this thing it ran its course and then it's done.
Yeah. Should we give them maybe a topic? Maybe they're just kind of struggling for a topic.
Give them a topic for their next episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
I mean, we've listened to their topics and we've kind of went, what?
We've stolen
and we've kind of done our own kind of
with
version.
permission, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a permission thing. It's just more of a.
Well, no, I did send him a message.
Okay.
I'm like, hey,
it's not like a comedian
do you mind?
says, "Well, do you mind if I use your jokes?"
Yeah, no, it's not quite the same thing. So, I'm going to go to our topic board.
Okay, topic board,
and we're going to give them. Okay, so this is their next episode. We're going to pick the topic, and they have to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to try to inspire them here.
Okay.
Let's see.
You don't want to give away all our topics, though. You probably have to just.
Did you get your phone handy there?
One. Yeah. Yeah, we're hooked up with the one I keep dropping. Yeah.
Yeah, the one you keep dropping. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
okay, so let's sort it the same way.
Okay, let me just
sort by
to do. Okay, now I need to go to
We're doing this live.
Podcast. Yeah, let's
So just to let you know, so right from here, if we had Zoom open on the computer and someone called in through Zoom, they would be on our fourth channel here.
Wow.
Make sure it's still going now. I'm paranoid. The other thing we actually could do is if you had Zoom open, we could record on Zoom right now and have a backup to this.
On another memory stick. Well, the one you have now is now empty, so
yeah,
should be good.
Okay, we're gonna sorted by
what importance?
Sure.
With the arrow going up,
going down, this.
Okay, so I've got. So the first one is Bring on Rage.
Yeah.
So that's the.
So we can't tell. We can't.
Number one.
Yeah, they can't do that topic. Bring on Rage.
No, that's
unless they want to get angry and bring the rage.
Bring the rage.
They can't do the second one. Oh, I have to buy this. Oh, I'm not going to share this out loud right now, but he contacted us, so we have to set that up.
Okay.
Mom loves this poem. Oh, this would be good. They could do this one. We'd have to send it to them.
I don't know if they'd be into poems.
Mom, I was at Mom's the other day, and she read me a poem, which is really weird because she said something really odd. I'm like, where did that come from? Oh, it's a poem, blah, blah, blah. Not the... how about this one? Toblerone not Swiss enough?
That's up there, up in their end of town, right?
Sweden? Is it?
Well,
Switzerland. Sorry, Sweden. I always mix up my Swiss and my Sweden.
You're
Sweden and Switzerland.
Yeah. So CBC, which is a Canadian network, right?
Yes, they reported on this, but they're not the only ones that have reported on this story.
And they're saying that Toblerone isn't Swiss enough.
Toblerone. Toblerone.
Oh, is it
Toblerone?
You know what? I've always called it Toblerone.
That's a sexual.
Well,
it's a sexual aid.
If you've ever seen a Toblerone or whatever you want to call it, it's very rough. So I don't think that would work very well.
So I'm gonna read what this is.
Okay.
And I want them.
Well,
I want them to commit a whole hour to this topic. This is not going to work.
No.
Well, we can talk about it now.
Okay.
Ourselves, but we
can do our version. They can do their version.
All right.
Okay.
If you guys can spend 5 minutes,
yeah,
or better, depending on how well you do. So this is the claim that came out. So Toblerone chocolate maker drops iconic Matterhorn design due to rules of Swissness. So they have the Matterhorn.
What? Okay.
The Matterhorn
What?
on their boxes. You can open it up. Like there's a link in the
Matterhorn, like just like the design of the chocolate. You mean?
Well, they have it. They have like labeling on their packaging, and there's the Swiss Matterhorn on there, right? It's a symbol. Hang on, but I'll read this. So you can actually read the article too. Just open up the item,
Yep. Yeah, I
and
got
then
that,
there's a
yeah.
link inside, right?
They're stripping images of Switzerland's famed Matterhorn and the Swiss flag from the packaging. Why would they do that?
Well, read on. They've moved some production to Slovakia, so it's not in Sweden or Switzerland. Sorry, God damn it.
Now, does it matter? Now, it's showing two pictures. It's showing one with the gaps between the, and when I look at it, the first thing I think of is the pyramids, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
But there's a gap between each one. And then the one at the bottom, is that like the new version where there's more gap?
No, I think it's this here, the mountain.
Oh, the mountain, because
Wait.
it's supposed to look like a mountain. So they're going to get rid of the mountain and put what?
Do they say here?
Do they have like a new?
No, I think they say here too.
There's no new
So
design.
Mondelez International of Deerfield, Illinois, which owns the Swiss-born brand, said Monday that it's in the process of adapting the packaging of Toblerone products to conform with strict rules in Switzerland about how products qualify for the coveted Swissness moniker, perceived by some as a standard of quality. The redesign of the packaging includes a modernized and streamlined mountain logo that is consistent with the geometric and triangular aesthetic of because they're triangles. So now they're going with the mountain range
Okay.
because it looks like the shape. In June, the company announced plans to outsource production of some Toblerone chocolates later this year to Bratislava, the Slovak capital, where wages and the cost of living are far lower than in wealthy, expensive Switzerland. The packaging change affects 35 and 50 gram bars that will be made in Slovakia. Blah, blah, blah. So there's a law of Swissness of products was adopted in 2017 and aims to protect the cachet of Swiss manufacturing. When it comes to foods, two criteria have to be met. At least 4/5 of the raw materials that go into the product have to come from Switzerland, and the processing that gives a product its essential characteristics must be carried out in Switzerland.
Wow.
So that's interesting that Switzerland has a law about Swissness.
About Swissness.
Like
Is it like Belgium chocolates have to have some
well, maybe
Belgiumness?
maybe Belgium has their own rules, but I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
If they have a law that says you can't use Switzerland in your advertising if it's not Swiss. Wait, Switzerland or Sweden? God damn it, did I get it wrong again?
Well, you said Swissness, so it'd be
Switzerland, yeah. Swissness.
Swiss.
Swissness. I finally think I bit my tongue and I can't use the full thin of my tongue.
It's Swiss teeth.
There's the wife. Just started dessert.
Ah. Are they having any Swiss chocolate?
No, they're having Portuguese chocolate.
Chocolate.
And Portuguese arroz. They're having arroz,
Arroz?
which is rice.
Rice.
A rice pudding.
Ah, rice
Yes.
pudding. Something I haven't had in a while.
Yeah. Pick up at 4. What time is it now? Okay, I can leave in half an hour-ish.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think? Rage. What do you think? Do you think that the Swiss can own their own and control other like this, like the Swedish chef, for example? I know that's Sweden, that's not Swiss, but the Swedish chef, can they say, hey, you can't use that anymore because he's not Swedish. He's some American pretending he's Swedish, and you can't call him Swedish. Like, like, is there, like Canadian?
We're going to get hammered with a geography lesson. You know that? Well, you guys are talking about different things altogether.
Hey, make fun of us. We
Switzerland,
like it. We can take it. But you know what? Like, I'll be honest. Like, the way Canada is perceived in the rest of the world, like if an American company makes a toque,
Yeah.
and they call it a toque. A toque is a hat, by the way, with a little pom pom on the top.
That's the Canadian.
That's the Canadian
name.
And if they sell a toque, and they sell it Canadian toque, and it's made in Deerfield, Illinois,
Right.
I'd be offended.
Now, would that be the same as if someone sold an Adirondack a chair
There you go.
from
Yes.
the U.S.? Well, the strange thing is okay. What I don't understand is, say we'll just take a candy bar. We'll say O. Henry. We'll just pick one. Okay. If you and no different than whether you're eating like McDonald's in the U.S. side or you're eating McDonald's on the Canadian side, it tastes different.
Sure.
Okay, because they're getting their meats and their cheeses from different places.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to a chocolate bar like O. Henry, if you look at the packaging and it says, "Oh, it's made in, somewhere in the U.S. and ours is made somewhere in Canada." Now, what they're saying with Toblerone is you cannot make that.
Toblerone.
Toblerone. I'm just going to call it Toblerone because that's the only word I really know.
Right.
So, so does that mean that they're only allowed to make them in Switzerland?
Well, if you're going to have the logo, if you're going to have, there's two things of Swissness that were on the packaging.
Right.
And to have that logo, you're saying this is Swiss.
So is that like those logos where, like on your money?
It's like a made in Canada, but they're not doing it the same way. We have a made in Canada, like it's the flag, right? That shows up on stuff made in Canada. And there's a made in USA one as well.
Right.
I think it's kind of the same thing.
It's not like a hologram sticker, right? To say that, oh, this is authentic Intel processor type thing. And it's not, from wherever. So does that mean that those two things can't be on the packaging if it's made by a Canadian company? Or are you saying the Canadian company would say, we want to make this, but they say, no, you cannot. We're the only ones licensed to make Toblerone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That way, because I'd be curious to see, like if I went to the store and I went to Safeway or wherever and went and looked up their chocolate bars and I found one and I looked at the packaging, would it say imported by such and such, distributed by such and such in Ontario?
Yeah.
For example, in Canada. So is that what it would say? Or would it say be imported from Switzerland by a company in Switzerland?
Well, that's what was happening
it.
before. I think it was just imported from there.
Right. But they don't have, it's not imported in bulk type thing and then we put our own packaging on it because you said it has to be packaged from
to
have these
and
extra.
it's not, I don't think it's the made in Switzerland. Is it sorry, it's not necessarily the made in Switzerland thing.
Right.
It's the fact that it's calling it a Swiss chocolate. And then they said the two symbols or whatever of Switzerland, which is the authenticity thing. It's like a stamp, like
their version of that.
Even I think even if it was made in Switzerland and it didn't meet the standards of Switzerland, they wouldn't be able to have that on. Like I think it's a standards thing too. Like I don't think it's just
right.
It's all encompassing. There's a certain level of quality.
Right.
We have different FDA rules, like Federal Department of Agriculture, like they have their own rules,
right,
which are probably stricter than over here. Because the FDA specifically in the U.S. is very lax.
Well, there's this whole pasteurization thing, but I don't know if that would have anything to do with their chocolate.
That's right, because I don't think they pasteurize
in
Europe at all.
Now, have you had one?
Toblerone?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And what do you think?
I love them.
Out of 1 to 10, what's your rating and why?
A Toblerone is like a 10.
See, everybody is like this is like, better than, whatever.
Sex.
Well, the best thing since sliced bread type thing, right?
It's not better than sex, because that'd be me taking a shot at my wife, and I will not take a shot at my wife because I think she's awesome. Well, we're not going to talk about the bedroom here because that'll get me even more shit. Let's just say there's nothing better than sex.
Okay, well, that being said, so
But it is very good, chocolate.
I've had it, and I'm not impressed.
No?
No, and I didn't know what the big deal was. Mind you, I had it years ago, but it was like a nougat or something that gets caught in my teeth.
Yeah.
And originally when I got it, it was like, oh, it's probably like full of nuts. It's not. It's like a nougat, like little pieces shredded in there.
Yep.
And it gets caught in your teeth, and it's like, like, have you ever had those Scotch? Oh, what were they called? It was like a toffee. My God,
They're Scottish.
the filling pullers.
Wait a minute, wait.
The filling pullers.
Yes, that's Scottish.
Yeah, it's got the
So let's ask Rage right now.
okay.
What were they called? Scots?
The Scotch. It was.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is like from yesteryear.
This is like when we were like 5,
like Scotch
10
candy.
years old.
but
Scotch candies.
I don't know if that's the same. Let's see. We have Scotch candy. I put Visiviews. Did I say Visiviews?
Well, it's just like the other day when my phone called Investors Group. Just randomly called. We covered that last episode.
Really?
Yeah, I called Investors Group.
On its own?
I said I was talking about soup. And I named the soup, and then I started calling. My phone said, "Okay, calling so and so at Investors Group."
Well, that's terrible. But the front had like the tartan, type of thing. It was made in McCormick or McCavish or Mc something.
Oh, Scotch toffee. They're toffees, right?
Yeah, the toffee. And then you kind of whacked it on the ground, and then it
To
broke
break
in
it because
pieces.
it was so fucking hard.
Yeah,
Scotch.
but filling pullers, like you could pull your whole friggin' tooth out, like if you weren't careful. You really had.
Do you guys
to
know what we're
make sure.
talking about? Oh, Scotch toffee recipe. Okay, let's see if there's pictures here. Macintosh. Yeah, they're Macintosh. Those ones?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Macintosh. Nestle and Macintosh. These things are hard as rock.
yeah. Now is that what's inside these Toblerones,
Possibly.
or is it a nougat?
No, it definitely says nougat.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's probably what it is.
Not to be confused with Toffee Fay.
Toffee Fay. Yeah, that's something different altogether.
Or what was the Stefan had his podcast? What was it called? Toffycock. Best podcast name ever.
So here's a question for Rage. What is your favorite candy? And I guess you may not know this, whether or not it's sold other than in their area, or if this is strictly a brand that they carry. Kind of like our Canadian brand, we have our chips, for example. We've got one that's called Old Dutch, right?
Yeah.
And that's made here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see Old Dutch chips being made out, anywhere outside of Canada, unless,
Minnesota.
do they? Oh, okay. But across the pond, it may not have gone that far.
No. Yeah, what's the chip companies you guys have over there?
Yeah.
And I mean like potato chips. I don't mean like French fries, which we call them here, French fries. But like potato chips in a bag. What's the brand you have there? We could look it up in Google, but this is much funner to talk about it with you guys.
Yeah.
What's the we should be saving all this. This is all good content like for when they come on. But all right.
Well, we can definitely talk about it for sure.
I think I'm going to use Toffycock as the name of because then it won't play on most players because it's going to think it's an obscenity.
Well, there's Poppycock that we have.
We could call it Poppycock.
That's the is that like popcorn with nuts in it?
Yeah.
And caramel or
Pippa
something.
used to eat it all the time.
Yeah.
but it was in a tin, right?
Yeah.
It was like a round cylindrical
I
tin.
always wondered why there was always that little dish that had all those almonds in it, and they're always like stale tasting.
Yeah.
And then you find out later that they were actually chocolate coated. And then basically, when they were done with them, they just put them in the.
Suck the chocolate off.
They
and
weren't.
put them in.
They
yeah.
weren't meant to be eaten by anyone else. But
I probably ate those, so I ate someone else's spit. Yummy.
yeah. Or the what was it, the chicken bones?
Oh,
Do you remember
God.
those? They're pink, really hard.
Okay, they might have those.
And on the inside,
What
they
are
had
they
that
called?
little-
Chicken bones, right?
little
Is that
piece
what
of
they're called?
chocolate. Yeah, I think they're chicken.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
bones.
looking this up because I'm curious. This might be a maritime thing. Chicken bone.
Well, barley toys. I don't know if that's.
Oh my God.
That was Dad's thing. Christmas time,
Oh.
you'd have the red ones, or you'd have the like, yellow opaque kind of colored ones, and they had a kind of taste. I don't know what was in them, but obviously they were sugar.
Yeah.
But barley toys
Here we
was
go.
the actual name.
Chicken bone candies.
Yeah, those are the ones.
So you guys familiar? So they were pink,
Pink, like a stripe.
made by Ganong apparently, and they're. I
Ganong.
fucking hated those things.
Well, our grandparents had a bowl, and I don't know how long they sit because they're all stuck together.
Yeah, they would stick like any sort of melting.
Mind you, they didn't have air conditioning, so that could have been
No.
just.
Okay, I'm gonna look up barley toys. I'm curious. This might be a New Brunswick thing exclusively. I'm curious.
Yeah, they had them in a mold, and they look like Santa Claus. I think they were.
There's like sugared water, sort of like, and just hardened. Oh, this doesn't look like a barley toy. See, we're doing this in person. We can actually look at stuff together. There's a barley toy. Some red cocks.
Oh, yeah, roosters.
Roosters. I've never seen roosters, but there was always like at Christmas time.
Roosters on
It was like a Santa Claus. Wow, I was having a hard time finding this actually. Oh, it says I wrote barely toys.
Well, it could be a toy.
Potato. Barley toys candy. Here we go. Oh yeah, and there was different colors. It was red. There was yellow. Was there another color?
No, I think it was just the two.
No, hang on. These ones have green.
Green. No,
I don't remember seeing green ones.
That's a new one. That's a new flavor.
But yeah, they were basically like suckers on a stick.
Yeah.
They were colored. They were kind of translucent a little bit.
Oh, I remember the chicken. I think one was like a chicken.
Yeah.
It was made,
Do you think
looked like a mold.
Do you think your grandmother made these?
No. Those were bought. I'm sure they were.
All right, I'm getting a picture from. Oh, shitballs. Oh. Okay, so they're at a Portuguese shower,
Right.
wedding shower. Look at the desserts.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm
Is
responding.
that Portuguese custard?
Yes.
type?
Well, hang on. Well,
Those
we'll
look
go
awesome.
through these. So this is
It's like a butter tart, but
that
it's
one.
more
Yeah,
of a,
that
looks
thing,
like a lemon tart.
That is called a. I can't remember what it's called.
It's good. I don't know.
Those are good. Yeah, and then this is the custard. So it's like a custard pudding,
Oh yeah.
and then
This is all
and
dairy
then
based, right?
Oh God, yeah, heavy dairy.
What's that one? Looks like a
I don't know.
chalupa. or
Make
something.
me a plate. Make me a plate.
So growing up with all the candy that was available to us and the candy that you tried, what was your favorite? What was your favorite chocolate bar? Mine was rum and butter.
That was the name of the chocolate bar.
Yeah, I think it was made by Nestle or something, but it was
Rum
called
and
it's
butter?
Rum and butter.
What the hell is that?
It was
I'm looking
it was
this up here.
it was awesome, and I don't think they make it anymore.
Oops. I can't
But you'd
spell.
think for something that was so popular and the amount of people that liked it.
Rum and butter chocolate bar. Let's see what this is. Images. This thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't remember this at all.
No, that was good.
Looks yummy.
Do you remember the Lifesavers?
Yeah.
Do you remember when they came in like a little box package and they had the different flavors?
Mm.
And the rum and butter. I think they had a butterscotch or rum and butter in there. That was awesome too.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
I do not remember these at all, Todd.
No. They had Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Or
Oh yeah, Three Musketeers.
No,
yeah.
what was the one that had? It was chocolate coated, but it was almost like a zigzag type of cover. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, those a couple.
That's and so here's the thing I learned much later in life is that the chocolate bars and chocolate candies or whatever you want to call them that we grew up with,
yeah,
a lot of them were exclusively Canadian. Like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen on the other side of the border.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see that. It'd
So
be the same for them.
Conversely, yeah, across the pond,
Yeah.
over in Scotland, like what? Okay, so here's the other. This is question number 2. So question number 1 is, what's your standing on? Do you guys mix up Sweden and Switzerland too? It's question number 1. And how do you feel about the Toblerone bar? Second question is, what candies did you guys grow up with? Like chocolate bars or like do you have Cadbury chocolate brand like out there or like what do you have out there? I'm curious.
Yeah. When you were a baby and you went to your grandparents and they had the little bowls of whatever candy. What kind of candy was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't mean chocolate bars, but candy. Like there'd be
it
bowls
like
of
the
candies.
hard candy was like a white, looked like a pillow, and had like a red stripe in it. So it was like it was almost like not a candy cane, but kind of
a candy cane-ish. Yeah, it was
kinda-
round with like
I remember those
stripes
too.
that came off of the middle, so it wasn't like striped across, but it was a white, like it was white and then striped. It striped out from the center. What the hell were those things called? And Poppycock. There was always Poppycock in my grandparents' house.
Yeah, it was a picture of a rooster, I think.
From our grandmother on my dad's side, I think she had that in the house because she thought it was probably a funny word.
She probably would have thought it was a funny word.
And she's also used. She had used that word too. She'd used that word, poppycock.
That's just poppycock.
Yeah. Do you guys use poppycock out in Scotland?
Like, is that a swear word or a slang, or do you use that word at all?
Or is it toffeecock?
Toddlercock
Toddlercock.
instead of bone.
Yeah, toddler bone. All right. Well, I don't know. So wait, okay. Well, what else do we want?
Have they ever been to Canada?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, or even the U.S. Like, have they ever been? Have
you crossed the pond? As they say.
Yes, have you crossed the pond? Not with a canoe, not with Sean's story earlier with the restaurant, but an actual either flight.
We were going to have some maritime clams. We hopped on the canoe and crossed the ocean.
Yeah.
The clams in New Brunswick are very good.
Yeah.
They probably don't even know where we live. They just say Canada. They probably don't know where in Canada we are, but we are on the east coast of Canada.
Well, I mean,
Like
we've got
on the ocean.
We've got Atlantic lobster. Okay,
Yes.
so we have Atlantic lobster. That's it's different than rock lobster. It doesn't taste like dirt, mud. It actually tastes. It's a whole different thing. So the specialty out east is pretty much lobster. Like we had the lobster festival. That was kind of our thing.
Yeah.
What kind
Pacific
of
lobster is not the same. That's for sure.
Yeah, like what festivals do you have there that you like? Are you guys known for what? Your octopus, shark, like any type of seafood?
Yeah,
all?
what's the seafood of Scotland?
Or is it not seafood? Maybe it's I don't know.
Because we grew up
an
like
animal, yeah.
for where we grew up, seafood was huge. It was number one. It was like we were known for seafood, like with lobster and crab and things like that, and even eel.
Yeah.
Was the thing. Like is seafood big in Scotland? Of course, we could Google all this shit, but I don't want to. I want you guys to give us your answer.
Yeah, we're the guys on the street.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're just gonna ask.
We don't have those newfangled computer machines.
Yeah, like lobster used to be, I think, kind of a poor man's meal.
For us, it was
back.
Yes.
Before it was mainstream, a delicacy type thing, like with caviar and whatnot. So lobster was,
for us, it was cheap to buy.
It was cheap to buy.
It was cheaper to buy than going and buying pork or chicken or whatever. Like Dad would go to the wharf with like $10 and bring a whole bunch home.
Yeah. Well, but then again, we got it right off the boats.
Yeah,
so
right
the
off the
boats
boat.
would come in, go to the wharf, they would sell their stuff.
They'd
cheap,
be live.
cheap, because of course you got the middleman, right?
Yep.
So it was just direct.
Do you know? So the Rage Boys probably don't know this, but like where we grew up, there was the Acadians, there was the French. So there was the French and there was the British. And then the French that set up, they started, the French of where we're from, they started calling them Acadians, right?
Right.
And that was the native French Canadians were Acadians, and the land they lived in was called Acadia, which was New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland. So like the Acadians were in the eastern part of Canada, and basically it was the British fighting the French the whole time, and so the British were the rich and the French were the poor.
Right.
So the French, and I remember learning this in history class back in New Brunswick, and they have recreations of like the British colonists,
Okay.
like King's Landing was where it's all the British colonies.
Right,
An
right,
Acadian village,
Yeah.
which is a recreation of an Acadian village,
Been
is
to
the
both.
poor French.
Yeah, been to both. That was like bare dirt floors.
Yeah.
With the corn broom.
Yeah.
You know, they look like, well, we call them out here Hutterites. They're just wearing your
Yeah, plain
overalls type
clothes,
thing,
yeah.
working on the farm. Like that was their.
Yeah, but you go to King's
thing.
Landing, which is in Nova Scotia, I believe. Wait, King's Landing, is that New Brunswick? No, I think King's Landing is No, wait. King's Landing, I think, might be Nova Scotia. I can't remember. Anyway, King's Landing is the British one. So everyone's got their uniforms on, and they're well-to-do, and they're very rich. So what we had learned was that what the British were eating,
Right.
they were having bologna sandwiches, because that was upper crust. Bologna was very costly to make, and it was a very expensive blend of. It was like and then the poor French, they were like fishing their own lobster because that's what the poor people ate.
Right.
So it was very interesting. Bologna was,
You ate what you had, right?
yeah, you ate what you had, and bologna was like it was a processed meat,
Right.
and you don't process the lobster, you just cook it, But they're having processed meat because that was.
And they all had gout,
Yeah, they all had gout, scurvy, and stuff.
processed meat.
But anyway, so what I was I don't know what I was saying. I already forgot my story. Whatever.
We're talking about Acadians and the British
Yes, but
and lobster.
yeah. So there's a very interesting divide in the Maritimes. I don't know if you remember this from school. I'm just watching the time here. I can leave in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Do you remember the English-French divide back home?
What do you mean by that?
So we went to a French school.
Yes.
In our town,
Right.
the English school is on the other side of the tracks.
Tracks. Do we have tracks?
Yeah, there was like it was a bridge. So
Well, I mean I know.
and the English schools were on the other side.
Well, the English schools were pretty much in Moncton.
No, but there was some English schools in. Where's the? Oh my God, where's the church we used to go to? What's the name of that area?
Point of Sheen.
Point of Sheen.
Okay.
No, that's French, obviously.
Yeah, Point of Sheen.
There was another area there by the wharfs. It was an English area.
Okay.
There was an English school.
Oh
there.
yeah, right. That's right. Yeah.
The girl I was dating,
Right.
in pre-high school or whatever it was, she went to the English school, and I went to the French school.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't a good thing. I remember some English folk threatened to beat me up because I was French. But I remember.
What was this? It's like a stereotype of some sort.
Yeah, it was like
they're
a
saying, well,
stereotype.
because
Like,
you're
I was-
English or you're French, you're different in what way?
Yeah. So I was wondering
Other
if
than
you
the
saw
language.
that in school or not. Because for me, it was a very dominant thing.
Well, everything was like growing up. I mean, we went to French school, and I think it was more because of where we lived, because that's where the buses.
Yeah.
And that
yeah,
was
we had
kind
to
of
get
our-
bussed in pretty far.
Yeah.
Pretty far for their standards.
Yeah, I mean, we were. I mean, it took 20 minutes, half hour to get to work.
Just like Skuduk. Like Skuduk was far too. Like Skuduk would come into our town too.
Yeah, but as for English, I mean,
Like, did anybody ever talk to you? Like because we were English raised.
well, yeah. We spoke English just as well as anyone else did, and we spoke French because both of our families. I mean,
We had, yeah.
On our mother's side, all our aunts and uncles, cousins, and everything, spoke French. And
Yeah.
on Dad's side, it was English.
Yeah.
Although they still spoke French also.
Yeah.
So it was, and what they would call our language, because what would happen was we talk English and French, and they gave it a word. It was called chiac, which was basically half English and French. So if you listen to our mom talk to our aunt on the phone, they'd be talking, a bunch of French and then throw a couple of English words in, or the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was just the way it was. And that's how we kind of grew up. We didn't really know any better. Mind you, if you watched TV, it was either English or it was French. It wasn't really chiac, unless it was a station that, that had a show on, like La Sagouine. Remember La Sagouine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where she would talk in French and Mom would just be howling. And we couldn't understand a word she was saying because this was Acadian French. And Acadian French, it's almost like when you have English speaking, but from a different country where the English is a little different, where they call words. It's like England versus here. It's
Right.
English, but it's a different dialect, and some words mean different things.
Sister city of Shediac. Do you know what it is?
No.
Bro Bridge, Louisiana.
What?
Yeah.
Now, are they talking about the same place?
Well, there's a lot of Acadians that immigrated down to Louisiana.
Oh.
That's the Cajun. Have you ever heard the word Cajun?
I've heard of Cajun, which is pretty much burnt, whatever it is you're eating.
Yeah, but Cajun is Acadian.
Oh.
It's the French that were, because the British were coming in and they started
The British are coming.
well, the British started killing all the Acadians. There was a mass culling of Acadians of the French.
Well, the old
right?
1755 deportation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Déportation des Acadiens, or whatever.
Right.
So some stayed, and the ones that left by boat, they traveled down the eastern coastline of the United States.
Right.
And landed in Louisiana. And started calling themselves Cajuns. So the French Cajuns of Louisiana are related to us.
Well, the English couldn't pronounce Acadien.
Yeah.
Cajun?
Yeah, so Bro Bridge is our sister city.
Some crawdads.
Population of 8,139. Oh my God, it looks like Shediac. There you go. So anyway, so that's the connection I wanted. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Was that our background, like where we're from, we have a tie to Louisiana, which is why I always wanted to go down there and just to kind of see, like.
Well, maybe we should do a podcast out in Louisiana.
That'd be fun.
And we'll call up some Acadians from New Brunswick.
Yeah.
And we'll say, guess where we're at?
We should get some. We should do. So Todd, if we're doing this in person here, right?
Yeah.
We can do a Zoom call from here,
Right.
and record right on here,
Right.
and it'll pipe in, and we'll hear them clearly.
Cool.
So we could. I'd love to have someone from New Brunswick on the show. I'd love to have somebody from Louisiana as well.
Yeah. Well, if we could find an Acadian in Louisiana.
That'd be even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our first in person.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you find us, Todd?
Well, you can find us at SeanMcGinnity.ca. That's SeanMcGinity.
And all social media.
.ca.
.canada. And then all social media at Sean Geek Podcast. Go visit our store. Go buy a shirt. Why don't you guys go buy a shirt?
Yeah.
Or
buy a shirt. Take a picture of you wearing a shirt and send it in.
Oh, if you do, you
Instagram,
will more than get mentioned on the show. We'll reshare it. We'll,
Yeah.
go buy a shirt. Yeah.
Sure.
What's TeePublic? Look up Sean Geek Podcast on TeePublic and you'll find us. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
I'm wearing my shirt right now.
Yeah. I think I'm going to order a couple off the website. Just to have them around. We could have some giveaways maybe, perhaps.
Yeah. We're doing the Zoom calls. I just have one hanging on a hanger behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good. All right. So we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. And bye. Have a good day.
Fans of the Sean Geek Podcast, this is the Core Geek talking at you. Did you know that the Sean Geek Podcast has merch available? That's right. Head on over to SeanMcGinnity.ca and click the merch link at the top of the page. You'll be taken to the Sean Geek Podcast store on TeePublic, where you can find the Sean Geek Podcast logo on t-shirts, totes, masks, and more. And best of all, a portion of the sales goes to help support the podcast and allow Sean and Todd to keep bringing great content your way. Once again, go to SeanMcGinnity.ca and click the merch link at the top of the page. And while you're there, don't forget to download the latest episode.